Hello. So this is a post about talking about the metaverse, and it should be seen as a debate post just to bring up the discussion. I'm not saying this is the optimal way, but I really would see other people challenge this way and like improve upon it or see other ways around it. So I believe that this sketch I have done here is one way of doing it, and of course there are multiple ways. But I will explain this briefly. And my view is that we should have users which are moving around in the metaverse and they can communicate directly to each other. And that is would only be connecting to the one which are close in the metaverse. So this is, for example, if you want to update non-relevant things like emotions or stuff which doesn't affect the outcome of the metaverse, so say, if you're smiling or similar stuff like that. But the more relevant stuff, like where you are, what you're picking up, and stuff like that, should go through a gateway. And that gateway would link you to a simulation node. And that simulation node would get data from persistent servers, which is keeping everything persistent in the metaverse. And all this gets its information from applications or rather simulations. And those simulations are built upon application frameworks. And that application simulation would also be coming from content servers. So how is that all driven, so to say? I don't hate on this, but I believe that crypto could be a good way in this one. I don't think that crypto and metaverse is closely linked, and I don't think that they are the same in any way. But I think that if we use crypto in the right way, we could drive this in a good way. But I think we should have, instead of proof of work or proof of stake or stuff like that, I think we should have a crypto for this, which of course would be proof of stake for signing off on the transaction, so to say, and it would be probably done by the persistent nodes. However, the crypto I think should be like work. What did I call it? I did come up some name for it. Work tokens. Yeah. Oops. So whenever a user wants to enter an area in the network, they need to pay work tokens, and that work tokens go to the gateway, which is then divided to the simulation nodes, and the simulation nodes is then spreading it out to each other and then paying it forward to the application simulation, and that is then going to the application framework. So it's like dropping down all the way down and spreading the work tokens all the way down. And then every time a fixed period of time has progressed, like maybe a month, this is also paying out so that we are seeing the usage of whatever the need is in terms of CPU, storage, graphical GPU, and so on the simulation nodes. And that would be used using this formula. I will not dig into this. If anyone is interested, feel free to take a look. So, in the end, I believe that the gateway will use multiple simulation nodes for the same player, and that is to be able to prevent anyone faking what they are doing, so to say. So there will be a voting, like every gateway will get the same input. The gateway will get the same input from the user, send it out to multiple simulation nodes, and depending on which simulation node is the fastest, that one will send it to the user. But then the slower ones will also send the data to the gateway. And if they are slower, they will get less work tokens, but they will still get them. So even a slow one could check that the gateway is receiving valid information from the simulation nodes. And the simulation nodes, to be able to be on the network, needs to have a proof of stake. So if they're trying to fake something, even though they are encrypted, like a VMware style node, I think that they should, when I say encrypted, I mean like the VM, I want to run them as on other people's hardware without telling the end hardware what it's simulating. I know it's probably quite tricky, and I've not figured out exactly how that should be done, but I think that should be vital to get this running, so to say. And let's see, this is a good topic as well. So we have the simulation nodes. They are connected in like a network. So every node is responsible for some part of the metaverse, and they are also responsible for talking to the other simulation nodes in between. And whenever someone is getting information or sending information, they are always passing along the work tokens for that area, so to say. And the simulation nodes will each month be updating depending on how much work tokens that they charged, and in relation to that, how many CPU and storage was needed for that one, so to say. So each area will go up and down for depending on which application is running there, on how heavy it is, and that will charge you. And I mean, this will not be like super high charging. It's more like to get the framework running. And if you are interested and you want to be on the network, just set up a machine and start mining by having a simulation node running in your apartment, and then you can just use Metaverse for free. Like everyone is pitching in with their own simulation nodes. And the simulation nodes, I should be clear here, they could be anything. This gateway could be run by a user. This simulation node could be run by a user. These persistence nodes could be run by users. And this application simulation probably should be run by some main server, like a node in the network, which is responsible for updating the whole network on the persistence nodes and the content server in terms of what this application is, like how is it designed. So whenever a developer is updating, it will update the application node, and it will update the content server and the persistent node, and that will in terms be fetched from the simulation node whenever a user is entering the area which having the simulation that you are wanting to enter. And to be able to build this easily, I think it's important that we also have an application framework, and that comes with a cost. So whenever an application framework is used, work tokens is pushed to that application framework. So you have development on all nodes. And I mean that work tokens should be like a flow that is just encouraging participation of everyone in the network, and it should go up and down and create new work tokens based on the need for work tokens. When I would say with that is that if we look on this formula over here, depending on how much was used in relation to how much we had, we will push up and down on the storage and CPU. And therefore, I mean, if there's a lot of storage on the network, we don't need more, so that will be less valuable. And that will define the price for work tokens, or rather what you will be paid per whatever you are presenting. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I really would like to hear what you think about this. having this like decentralized network. And maybe this didn't make any sense at all, then I will just make a new video trying to explain it. So if you think that this is just crazy work and you didn't get a thing, yeah, reach out and I will try to make a new video and explain it a bit more. And thank you so much for listening so far. Take care. Bye.